So my question is, when you have someone who is switching genders and they get a surgery, we would call that gender reassignment surgery, right? That's what everyone calls it.
Yes.
Okay. A sex change was kind of the old term. Then it went to gender.
Was that hateful? The sex change thing?
Yes, it was hateful. So
okay.
we went to gender reassignment surgery.
Gender reassignment surgery. So you're being reassigned a different gender.
Okay. If you know the answer, don't say it out loud, Pat.
Okay.
We've now discovered that gender reassignment surgery
is that hateful too now?
Also hateful.
Oh, dang it.
Okay.
Darn it.
So there is a new term that it is okay to say for this particular procedure. What is it? 888-727 Beck is the phone number.
I can't wait to hear. I don't know the answer.
You don't know the answer. I didn't know it until today.
Huh.
888-727 Beck is the answer. First caller who gets this right, we'll give you a Nancy Pelosi sucks pen.
Because this is valued at what? $1,000?
$1,940.
Okay.
That's which I believe was the year she was born. That's why we actually did price it at $1,940 marked down. We marked it down significantly as a special sale, a special commemorative sale. But the normal retail price is $1,940.
Okay.
Because of her year of birth. Because I will say I didn't know this, and I was fascinated to hear this report this morning about the issues with transgendered kids, because there's a lot of hate-filled bills apparently going through Republican states that are limiting in disgusting ways, apparently, children's access to puberty-blocking drugs.
Stop it. Don't
to
say
having
that.
major surgeries when they're like 8.
Oh, no.
There are some states that think that that's wrong. And as the report acknowledged, Pat, there are many people who have, I can't, this world is.
Are you about to burst into tears?
I really am. I can't even, they're basically saying that, hey, look, what doctors say and scientists say is this not allowing kids to take puberty blockers and to have these surgeries.
Well, that's just sheer unadulterated hate.
Could hurt the mental health of the child and the family. So therefore, it's just hatred. They were just calling it transphobic bills. There's transphobic bills going through. Arkansas was one of the more recent ones. Transphobic bill going through Arkansas, blocking children from using puberty blockers and having these surgeries. What? There's no line to this. It's like, I would say that many years ago, right, there would be a conversation maybe about how, any good guesses? Because we got a lot of guesses here, but I wonder if we have any that aren't like a very offensive jokes. What line is it? Oh, not yet. Okay. I think this is a good one because I was legitimately surprised when I heard it. I've never heard this term before.
I admit I haven't.
Okay. Because we have now advanced, though, to the part of this debate where, remember, I think it was, was it Mario Lopez that got in trouble because he said, look, having kids change their sex at, 6, 7, 8 years old is obviously ridiculous. Or no, I think he said 4. And then he had to come out and apologize because apparently it's not ridiculous to change your sex or your gender at 4. Right?
Right. Yes. And he massively apologized for that. Like he had really screwed up and said something really horrific. Like how dare you say a 4-year-old can't decide to change their sex? How dare you?
It's like, legitimately children at 4 years old will think they can learn how to fly. They'll think their imaginations are running wild with all sorts of different possibilities. And if you come to them with the idea that maybe they should be the other gender, what do you think, Sky? Many of them are going to take you up on that. And as we've seen, I was talking to Dr. Deborah So the other day. She has a book out on this. And she's one of the very brave voices on this who's willing to come out and say what the science actually says, which is many, many, many children who go through this wind up regretting it later. Many people who thought about going through this at the end of the day are glad that they didn't.
Yeah, the suicide rates are really high for those who even get the surgery, right? Aren't they? Because you're expecting to feel better and more like you, and then a lot of times they apparently don't, and they've got really high rates of depression and suicide even after the surgery. So
it's.
I think I know what it's called though now.
Okay, hold on. We've got a
cheated,
couple
though.
guesses. You did cheat?
I did cheat.
All right. Matt in Louisiana, I believe it is. Matt, what do you think it is? It used to be sex change. Then it was gender reassignment surgery. What is it now?
Well, that's Los Angeles I'm in, so
sorry.
you got to get that right first. Sorry. You know, I'm just going to go with the old traditional, the old switcheroo.
Yeah.
The old switcheroo.
Let's just go with that.
No, I promise you the new. Unfortunately, that is not the answer. That would be better. I will say, like, every once in a while, one of these like PC terms seems to me to be considerably worse than the previous one.
Yeah.
The example I would come up with is little people. Like, little people is obviously worse than midget.
I think it is.
I think it's way
I've
worse.
always thought that.
I would not.
But I was afraid to say it.
Right, like they said, like they're like midget. They're like, you can't say midget. You need to say little people. That's way more demeaning. I don't know
condescending.
why. It does seem like
it's condescending.
Again, I understand that like midget wouldn't be the right thing. Because I don't know. I don't know what I don't spend too much time thinking about that. But say, oh, by the way, we have a little person here with us today. Seems bizarre. It just seems like a terrible term.
Yeah.
And every once in a while, that does happen. Like, could it go from gender reassignment to the old switcheroo? That seems like it's pushing it. So, no, I don't think that's it. Christy in New York, you have a guess here. It used to be sex change. Then it turned into gender reassignment surgery. What is it now?
I think it's gender affirmation surgery.
Gender affirmation surgery is a good one. Now, that was not the one I heard today, I will say. But you know what? That's a good guess. That's a good guess. We'll give you a Nancy Pelosi sucks pen anyway. So let's give that to Christy. But that's not actually the guess. That's not actually the correct one. It's pretty close. We're getting close.
I thought so.
Okay. Sam in Pennsylvania. Sam, what is your guess? It used to be sex change. Then it was gender reassignment surgery. What is it now?
I'll go for gender confirmation.
That's right, gender confirmation surgery.
You're confirming your actual gender.
Exactly. You're not reassigning
the mistaken one that you were assigned at birth.
And you're not saying you're reassigning means you're changing. It's not true. You were always that gender. They're just confirming your gender with the surgery. That is legitimately what they're calling it now.
Gosh, that's
Sam,
amazing.
you're brilliant. Congratulations. You've won a Nancy Pelosi sucks pen. We will get that out to you as soon as possible. Thank you, Sam. Isn't that credible?
Yeah,
that is what
it is incredible.
And they actually are like saying that gender reassignment surgery, which was it used to be sex change.
Yeah.
Now it never went to gender change. It just skipped. We got rid of sex and we got rid of change. Then it's reassignment, and now it's confirmation. And it's in like puberty blockers for children.
Ridiculous.
It is now gender confirmation therapy. Wow. So they're just you taking medication to block hormones and create hormones and change your gender is now confirming the gender you already were, even though nothing in your body says that you're that gender.
And this is what they do. This is what they do to make it seem perfectly natural and the right thing to do, just like we let them get away with this on the abortion thing. Rather than aborting a baby, I'm just choosing. I'm just making a choice. I'm pro-choice. What person who is for freedom could be against choice?
Yeah.
And now it's not a reassignment. It's not a change. It's confirming what you should be and what you really were all along.
And I think you've hit on the single greatest piece of propaganda in American history. Calling being for abortion pro-choice. How the hell did that stick? It's such a ridiculous argument.
Should not have allowed it.
Right, like the only thing that matters is it a human being or not? Right? Like you wouldn't say if you were just going to go murder someone that you're pro-choice. It doesn't make any sense. Like, you know, if OJ was like, look, I'm just pro-choice. I didn't like Nicole. I chose to have her die.
Right.
That no one would be like, OJ's just pro-choice.
Yeah, that makes sense.
He's a pro-choice guy.
You know, and murder is such a harsh word. He did just choose.
He just chose. Chose to use that knife in that way. And it's like, well, that wouldn't make sense. And we always, let's take it out of fully grown adults. If you were to say 10 minutes after birth, the baby's out there crying, you're like, you know what? I choose no. Sorry, kid. I choose no. We would all say that that's murder. Mm-hmm. But 10 minutes before that, we would be like, oh, well, I don't know. There's a tough line here, and science says it's not murder. It's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. A fully formed baby 10 minutes before birth is just tissue.
That's just tissue. It's nothing. It's just a choice for the mom to make.
10 minutes later, it's an actual human being.
It's completely
amazing.
Ridiculous. Completely ridiculous. And the phrase pro-choice has overturned human logic for half the population. It is just, everybody knows. I've said this to people over and over again about abortion. It's like, if you were to say, a minute after birth, can you kill a baby? Everybody would say no, right? I mean, except for very few people. There are some out there that would probably, Singer and Princeton might still keep going with that. But generally speaking, you'd say no. Well, what about a minute earlier? Well, most people would say no. I mean, the polls are something like 84, 85%. You'd say, absolutely not.
But every Democrat in the hierarchy
says yes to that.
Yes.
At least in theory.
Shouldn't limit the woman's choice at all.
Right. And it's like, if you were to say someone a minute after birth, a baby was born, and you said, okay, well, and we can kill that, you'd call them a psychopath. But a minute before, you'd be like, okay, it's the mainstream position of the Democratic Party.
Yeah.
Now, that's just a crazy, crazy line. And and the issue here, which is I think the most uncomfortable thing about abortion, when you talk to normal people who are just like, look, I'm pro-choice. I don't really want to do it for myself, but at some point that minute occurs. You say, okay, is it 3 months and 1 minute as compared to 3 months? Is it 6 months and 1 minute as compared to 6 months? What minute are you changing it from murder to non-murder, or the other way around? It's either it's choice to murder at 1 minute period at some point in that process. Might be two trimesters, might be 3, might be 1. Somewhere you're just saying like, yeah, 60 seconds ago it was fine, but now it's murder. And at that point, you're making the same bizarre psychopathic choice you could mock at birth. It really is a strange process. The human mind works in very strange ways. But luckily, we have gender confirmation surgery here to sort it all out for us.